America, land of the free, home of the brave, and one of the most polarizing countries on earth, which some nations see the United States as a beacon of hope. Others see it as the villain in their story. But have you ever wondered which country actually hates the United States the most? Today, we dive deep into history, geopolitics, public opinion polls, and cultural tensions to find the answer. And trust me, it's not as simple as you might think. So before we name names, we need to define what we mean by hate. Are we talking about governments or everyday people? Are we measuring political hostility, cultural resentment, or military opposition? There are three major indicators we'll consider. The first is public opinion polls. How do average citizens feel about America? The second is government hostility, diplomatic tensions, sanctions, or threats. And then the third is cultural and historical resentment. Often overlooked, but deeply influential. Let's look at each of these factors, and you might be surprised who tops the list. When we think of U.S. enemies, the same countries usually come to mind. Iran, which we just bombed their nuclear facilities, so, North Korea, Russia, Venezuela, and China. But do their people hate America as much as their governments seem to? Let's first start with probably the one that's on the forefront of everyone's mind right now, given what had just happened: Iran. Iran has a long history of U.S. involvement. The 1953 coup, the 1979 revolution. They have death to America chants. They burn flags, symbolic and state rhetoric. But polls show many Iranians admire American culture and education. Their government is unquestionably hostile towards the United States, but their people, they're divided. Next up, North Korea. They are famous for anti-American propaganda. It's built into their daily life. Their generations are raised to view America as the enemy. In school, they are taught that America is the enemy. There's virtually no public polling of citizens, as it is a closed society. And even if they were to do a poll, they would likely be forced to vote a certain way. Their government has extreme hostility towards the United States. And of the people's opinion, the average citizen, it's completely unknown to us due to their isolation. Next up, we have Russia. Russia has a long and storied past with the United States. There is resentment from the Cold War, NATO's expansion, and most recently, the Ukrainian war. Russian propaganda portrays U.S. as a moral and cultural threat. Recent opinion polls, over 70% of Russians hold negative views of the United States. There is high government and public hostility there. Lastly, we have China. Again, another storied and long history with the United States. There is a strategic rivalry, trade wars, and tension over Taiwan. Younger generations seem more positive than older ones. The CCP uses anti-American narratives, but also respects U.S. innovation. It's a complex love-hate relationship with China. Here's what the polls say. According to the Pew Research Center, countries with the most negative views of the United States in recent years include Turkey, with an overall disapproval rate often above 80%, Pakistan, which is a strong anti-American sentiment, essentially post 9/11, Russia, consistently high disapproval, worsening since 2014, Palestinian territories, deep anger over the United States' continued support for Israel, and Iran, high disapproval, but a notable fraction wants better ties. After recent events, I would consider that disapproval is only higher. A 2023 YouGov Global Attitude Survey found that Russia now holds the most hostile views of the United States, both in terms of political animosity and public sentiment. That's followed closely by Iran, Pakistan, and North Korea. Why do these countries hate the United States? We have a history of interference. In many cases, resentment stems from the U.S.'s interference in domestic affairs, coups, drone strikes, economic sanctions, or propping up dictators. Iran. 1953, the CIA backed a coup against Mossadegh. Pakistan, drone strikes have notably killed civilians. Russia has perceived the United States' encroachment through NATO. And North Korea hates us through the Korean War and current continued sanctions. America's promotion of liberal democratic values often clashes with traditional authoritarian regimes. To some, U.S. culture represents moral decay. There's also the fact of economic power. The dollar dominates global markets. Sanctions can crush economies. And to many nations, America feels like a global bully with far too much power. So, that leaves us with who hates us the most? If we're being honest, North Korea probably takes the top spot, at least on paper. Their government is unapologetically hostile, and anti-American sentiment is institutional. But when it comes to a blend of public hatred and political hostility, Russia is still likely the number one country that hates the U.S. the most today. Russia combines intense governmental opposition with a population that increasingly sees the United States as its primary enemy, especially since the invasion of Ukraine and the deepening of Cold War-style rhetoric. But here's the twist. While governments can stir up hate, individual people often see through that noise. Many people in these enemy countries admire American music, movies, technology, and opportunities. So maybe the real question isn't who hates the United States the most, but why do so many people have such complex feelings about America? The answer lies in history, power, and perception. And maybe understanding that is the first step to changing it. I want to thank you for watching. Drop a comment below. What country do you think has the biggest grudge against America, and why? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more deep dives into global politics and culture, military news, really anything else that I feel like rambling about. Y'all have a good one, and remember, stay noisy. Bye-bye.